Hello, and welcome to UnKpopular Opinions, a safe space for fans of BTS and other K-pop groups to ask the tough question, what do I think of this? I'm your host, Ginger Nuna, and today we're lightening things up a bit and talking about song titles, specifically when BTS and Tomorrow By Together songs opt for a completely new English title rather than a direct translation of the Korean one. When does this work well, and when does it distract from the song? This episode was inspired by my first introduction to BTS and how a lackluster song title almost made me overlook them. When I first heard the title, Boy With Love, I thought, that's a song being performed by adults? What's with the spelling? Was this written using one of those magnetic poetry tile kits? Yes, I'm embarrassed to say that based on a knee-jerk reaction to a song title, I almost missed BTS's homage to the Beatles on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Boy With Love is a great song, but a terrible title. Much like Family Guy's Peter Griffin, I too like it when they say the title of the movie in the movie, or for our purposes, the title of the song in the song. But that doesn't always have to be the case. For those of you playing Guess Ginger's age based on her adolescent anecdotes, here's another one for you. Growing up, one of the most popular songs on VH1, yes, I was one of those kids, was Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls. If you haven't heard it, please pause this podcast and listen to it. Like all things the Goo Goo Dolls wrote between 1995 and 2002, it's amazing. But I digress. The reason I bring up Iris is because the title has absolutely nothing to do with the song. Nothing. Johnny Resnick saw the name in an edition of LA Weekly and thought it sounded cool. As I explored this episode's songs, I found that the images evoked by some of the Korean titles were far more meaningful than the dull English titles. In other cases, though, the English title is superior to the direct translation of the Korean title. So, let's take a trip through the discographies of BTS and TXT and decide which Korean titles we should adopt and which we should drop. We kick things off with a visit to the lead single of BTS's school love affair, Boy in Love. The Korean title is Manly Man, parentheses, Boy in Love. Despite my feelings about Boy With Love, the title Boy in Love doesn't bother me. In this context, the spelling makes complete sense. It matches the spelling of the album title and physically embodies a feeling of youth. The lyrics are about just that, a boy in love, or rather a teenage boy's perception of love. Tell me to cry, I'll cry. Tell me to smile, I'll smile. Tell me to roll around, I'll roll around. The lyrics oscillate between desperate and icy. Quite frankly, the title Manly Man sounds like an anthem to toxic masculinity. Since some of the lyrics don't hold up well these days, the Korean title is a definite drop. We don't want this song to go the way of War of Hormone. Next we have Embarrassed from the Dark and Wild album. The Korean title is Blanket Kick. I love this title. Embarrassed isn't a bad title, but Blanket Kick is more original. In one of their most relatable songs, BTS describes the tossing and turning they do in bed as they analyze their interactions with the objects of their affection. Saying this is so hard. I like you. I was too shy to become your sun, so I became a cold moon. But afterwards, I keep making a wave of blankets on top of my ocean bed. If I heard the title Blanket Kick with no context, I'd be curious and want to listen to the song. I say adopt this Korean title. As we move forward and explore the most beautiful moment in life part 2, we encounter two songs with English titles, Silver Spoon and Autumn Leaves. Silver Spoon is an odd case where I think we should adopt the Korean title with one minor change. I want the romanized Korean title, not the translation. The translated title is crow tit. Even if English speakers knew that a crow tit is a small bird, we cannot be trusted with that word. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. We also haven't grown up knowing the proverb, if a crow tit walks like a stork, it will break its legs. So, I vote we English speakers adopt the Korean title, Bepse, which can also translate to try hard. RM opens the song rapping, "They call me try hard. Our generation has had it hard. Hurry, chase 'em. Thanks to those that come before us, I'm spread too thin. My millennial heart has never felt so seen." Bepse feels good to say, and is a fun way to add Korean slang to your vocabulary. Adopt. The second English title on the album is Autumn Leaves. When directly translated from Korean, the title is Dead Leaves. It's a subtle change, but it affects the whole tone of the song. The title Autumn Leaves and the song itself sounds tranquil, almost soothing, like the leaves are falling off the tree before your eyes. And who doesn't love crunching through a pile of leaves? Dead Leaves, on the other hand, conjures images more in line with the lyrics. One leaf left clinging to a branch. It's shattering. I see the end. Dead leaves becoming dried. The silence inside your aloof heart. Adopt. Moving forward to Love Yourself Her, we meet the song Go Go. Like Autumn Leaves, the Korean title, Rather Worry Than Go, is similar, but that small change to the English title can make English listeners miss the whole point of the song. Initially, it sounds like a tropical party anthem about enjoying abundant time and money. But upon further inspection, the lyrics are a lot darker. During an interview with Billboard, RM said, "Go Go is a trendy song, but it's about how our young generation are living their lives with low expectations and standards." In a later press release, we're treated to one of my favorite quotes from Suga. "It isn't a BTS album if there isn't a track criticizing society." A wholehearted adopt. Now we get to the song that started it all, Map of the Soul Persona's Boy With Love. This song inspired this episode not only by its off-putting English title, but by its gorgeous Korean title, Poem for Small Things, parentheses, Boy With Love. One after another, everything is special. The things you're interested in, the way you walk or talk, and every little trivial habit of yours. These aren't grand declarations, but small things. Honestly, I'm not a fan of the lyric Boy With Love to begin with. I do understand the sentiment and its deceptively rich history. As an editor on Genius.com wrote, its English title is reminiscent of their 2014 hit, Boy in Love, similar to how the intro for Map of the Soul Persona is reminiscent of their 2014 intro song, Intro School Love Affair. Both are throwbacks to BTS's school love affair era, and both indicate growth from that time. However, I feel like calling them boys contributes to the infantilization of the members. Boy worked in their late teens, but now that the members are solidly in their mid-20s, to an outsider, it sounds cringy. But with the understanding of the history behind the title, I say adopt the Korean one, parentheses and all. As we progress to Map of the Soul 7, we reach my favorite Korean title. English speakers know Jungkook's most recent solo as My Time, but the true title is Parallax. The Oxford definition of parallax is the effect whereby the position or direction of an object appears to differ when viewed from different positions. For example, what you see through the viewfinder of the camera is different than what the lens sees. In this heart-wrenching song, Jungkook explores how his view of time has been completely altered by his life as an idol, especially when he compares it to those of his peers. He asks the listener, "Why am I alone in a different time and space?" My Time is a fine title, but Parallax is more haunting, and bonus, it's worth 17 points in Scrabble. Adopt. Finally, we round out the BTS portion of the episode with two tracks from B, Fly to My Room and Telepathy. Fly to My Room is known as How to Travel My Room in Korean, and a song that laments the time and experiences lost to quarantining during the COVID-19 pandemic. V sings, "Anyway, I want to go anyway. Well, there's no choice. This room is all I have. Well then, I'll change this room into my world." Both titles are nice, but I prefer the English one. The way the Korean one is structured, How to Travel My Room, makes it sound like a guide or a list of modes of transportation. Fly to My Room invites the listener to join BTS, to create new adventures together, even though we're apart. Drop the Korean title. Keeping in the theme of life during COVID, we end our BTS list with Telepathy. The Korean title, for a moment, makes sense, but doesn't conjure the same feelings as Telepathy does. We may be apart for now, but our hearts are still the same. Even if you're not by my side, even if I'm not by your side, you know we're together. The word telepathy encompasses such a deep connection, one that lasts more than a moment. Drop the Korean title. Now that we've exhausted BTS's discography, let's take a look at TXT's. As we talked about during episode 2, TXT's debut song Crown from the Dream Chapter Star translates to One Day a Horn Grew from My Head. As we'll see with several of TXT's songs, they don't shy away from long, elaborate titles. This is a case where I think the English title is superior. In fact, I would have used Crown as the title in the Korean market too. While I appreciate the imagery and subsequent synopsis of the song, it's just a mouthful of a title. Great to read, but awful to say. Whoever thought it was a good idea to send terrified rookies on national TV having to introduce this as their first song title must have had a mean streak. Drop the Korean title. In TXT's follow-up album, The Dream Chapter Magic, they released 2 English titles. The first is the lead single 9 3/4, parentheses, Runaway. The Korean title is really similar. Waiting for You on Platform 9 3/4, parentheses, Runaway. In all markets, this title is often shortened to just Runaway, but I really like the original Korean title. I like the addition of Waiting for You, because it sounds like a direct invitation to the listener. It changes the song from I'm running away to Let's run away together, which is what the lyrics are about. The Platform 9 3/4 reference is wonderful. Even if you don't know its origins, it sounds like a magical place. Adopt the Korean title, only because I want to be invited on the adventure, not just assume that I am. The second English title on the album is Rollercoaster. The Korean title can be translated as either tickling or itchy, parentheses, rollercoaster. Either way, not a great translation. The word itchy is like the word moist. It's just, ugh. Even though the lyrics don't specifically refer to a roller coaster, this title perfectly sums up how the members are feeling and the imagery created by the lyrics. My body rests back. I can see the sky. Across the clouds, I can see the cliff. My fists are clenched. My lips stay dry. And now we're going down. Drop the Korean title for the English one. The last album in the Dream Chapter trilogy, The Dream Chapter Eternity, gives us 2 more English titles. Like the previous single, Runaway, the lead single is often shortened to Can't You See Me? But the whole Korean title is The Night the World Burned, We, parentheses, Can't You See Me? The song depicts the confusion and loneliness one feels when they realize a relationship is disintegrating right before their eyes. The Korean title is beautiful, but a mouthful. The simplicity in the question, Can't you see me, is more than enough to draw in potential listeners. Drop the Korean title. The other song on the album, Puma, is originally titled Puma Fleeing the Zoo. The members liken themselves to caged animals escaping a zoo. Still too young to stand alone, this world is a jungle full of warriors. The sight is aimed at your throat. 1,000 eyes are accessing the internet. Be careful, your enemies spread in an instant. Like Can't You See Me, the imagery in the title is descriptive, but too wordy. Puma, which is stylized in all caps, is more eye-catching anyway. Drop the Korean title. Finally, we have the title track of TXT's most recent album, Minisode 1, Blue Hour. Titled Blue Hour in English, Koreans are treated to a song called You and I Found Each Other in the Sky at 5:53. As Bongyu told Teen Vogue, Blue Hour takes place during sunset. It's about looking at the sky and marveling at its beauty, but also feeling a sense of isolation and unfamiliarity. We wish for this beautiful sunset to last forever, and that regardless of any thoughts of solitude, we will continue to feel the same as one another. The lyrics say, You're the one that I want, everything that I want. In the glow of dusk, everything changes at 5:53. Listeners, I think if you made it this far, you know what I'm going to say. The Korean title is beautiful, but too long. But instead of adopting the English title, why don't we split the difference? How about Blue Hour, parentheses, 5:53. Much like TXT, I think it's the best of both worlds. Listeners, what do you think? Do you have a favorite Korean title? Is there a song you almost overlooked because the English title was underwhelming? Send your UnKpopular opinions to unkpopularopinionspod@gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe so you're one of the first to know when a new episode is released. Thanks so much for listening, and don't forget to keep questioning.